Let's welcome Hunter and Josh. For those of you that are here, Rescue 9, Medic 18, Car 120. You guys ran these folks 2 Februarys ago. Who all was there that day? There you go. Here they are.
Oh, wow.
That is awesome.
And that's incredible for us to see, because that call stuck with a lot of us. I mean, we run a ton of calls down here, and a lot of them kind of, we don't remember all the calls, but like this one just stuck with all of us because it could have happened to anybody, and we never heard the outcome. Like once we dropped you guys off at the hospital, we never heard anything. We tried to follow up in the news, and there wasn't ever anything. So like it didn't look good, like you said. So when we heard recently that you guys wanted to meet, like we were thrilled.
Josh doesn't remember.
Yeah, I was a little bit out of it.
Okay, who was with Josh? Okay.
You guys.
Josh.
He talked to us the whole way to the
Did
hospital.
I really?
In the elevator.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, so when we pulled up into St. Luke's, the ambulances pulled into the bay at the same time, and when I was with you, and when we opened up the doors to come out, I was expecting them to be doing chest compressions, and I couldn't believe. Yeah, you were still sitting up and speaking. I mean, it was incredible because how many bullets? I mean, how many?
9 is what I was told. Yeah, I've still got 2 in me. Got 1 taken out. Got 1 here in my neck. 1 in between my shoulder and rib cage here. Had 1 taken out just right above my hip here. Yeah. The 1 that went through the back, in and out of the back of my head, and then the 8 in my back. Yeah.
He has always said.
Oh yeah.
Because when we got into the trauma room, like he was just going.
I was going crazy.
He was going sorry. He just kept saying, "Let me get up, release me," like just because of the brain injury, and so he always said, "Man, I wonder what I said in that ambulance. I want to say sorry if I said anything bad in there."
I always wanted to apologize for what I did or what I didn't do.
Yeah, you didn't say anything bad at all.
Oh, wow.
They were talking to you just the whole time.
Yeah, I don't.
You can tell by the time we were getting a lot closer, you were going downhill.
Yeah.
As your guys' Kansas City, since that was a pretty dark day, you guys just moved to Kansas City, right, from Texas?
Well, I had just moved back. I'm from here, so
Okay.
I grew up here my whole entire life. And the thing is, I went that way every Sunday. We would go there to the plaza for lunch every single Sunday, and that's the way that we would always go. And so that's the way I knew. And previously, we had been here
In November.
October because my mom was at St. Luke's because she had brain cancer, and so we were there for all of that. And we were going through that way at night, like going back and forth through to Lee Summit at night. So I never thought anything was going to happen. And this was 5 days after we moved back. It was his birthday. That was his birthday.
Yeah.
Yes, we were going to get sushi. We never got that sushi. But
Yeah.
I was like, well, welcome to Missouri. 5 days later. Never, ever. I mean, nobody ever thinks like, oh, I'm going to be shot one day.
Yeah.
But a place that you go all the time, it's wild. It's wild that this is even our story.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
How long were you in the hospital?
Let's see. I was in ICU for
3 days.
ICU. I was in ICU for longer than 3 days.
Yeah, but you could have downgraded. They didn't have a bed available.
Oh yeah, that's right. So yeah, about 3 days in ICU, and then I think overall is like 11 days.
What was it a still pretty tough recovery after? I mean, I'm sure after getting released.
His was better than mine.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
You had 2 in your left arm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see.
So there's a scar. So they went in here. I can show you the pictures.
Your arm was shattered.
Yeah.
Oh, it was blown up. But I can show you the x-rays. But when they went in there, so basically both of these whole bones are plates now. And the doctor said that it was so much worse than what an x-ray would show. Like, I mean, it was just blown up. But yeah, mine took 9 months to get my
Yeah,
arm
I
back.
think mine was 3 months.
Yeah.
And that was just because I had to go through therapy. I didn't want to, but I did go through it. So.
Wow. Is it okay if they sit here? Yes. Okay. Of course. That way they're not running around
You sit down.
with that.
Were you unconscious for most of your time in ICU?
You woke up at 1 o'clock the next day.
Yeah, the next day. But I don't remember anything that happened from the time that I got out of the car to the next day when I actually woke up.
The funny thing is, he is convinced. He has said this the whole time. Whole Kansas City saw everything because I was butt naked walking out of that vehicle. I was like, no, you were not. You did not.
Said you got up on your own and got onto the cop by yourself.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, I don't remember saying anything. I don't remember doing anything.
Yeah,
I
we
just-
hopped out when we pulled.
I was sitting right across from him. You were slumped over like that. I looked at him.
Yeah.
Your head was rested on the steering wheel.
Yeah.
And he-
Oh yeah, I know that. I felt that was I broke my neck when I was 16 in a car wreck, and that was the most pain I think I've ever been in until that day. I felt like my whole back was on. Well, I didn't even know that I got shot in the back. Like I just thought I got shot in the back of the head, and I didn't know how bad it was. I thought she was looking through a hole in my head. It wasn't that bad, but still, it was pretty bad. But it just felt like someone was sitting there with a blowtorch on the back of my neck and head, and that was the most pain that I felt that day. And then going into recovery, everything hurt.
Yeah. We'll have to show you pictures of that whole after. Oh my gosh. After the fact, the bruise.
Oh, I had a bruise from the bottom of my earlobe all the way down to my
it
rib
was-
where,
and everything.
Yeah,
I mean,
I was just-
like 4 times bigger.
yeah, swollen.
Did that ever catch him?
No. No.
Where were they that day?
At home.
At home, yeah.
They were we had left to just go pick up the lunch and we were going back home and they were with my parents.
That's a blessing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was wild.
Were there car seats in the back?
There were.
Yeah, we thought they were. Yeah.
So I still drive my car,
Yeah, we still.
but
still
it's
have the
completely
car.
restored. There's one little bullet hole left just for a memory.
One-
And so
One in the door, and then yeah,
I know,
and
you're better than 50 Cent.
is what it is.
But no, it was, I mean, that day, so when it happened, like, it was just wild. I just remember, so I had a sweater in the back seat, and I remember grabbing that, trying to do whatever. I grabbed the napkins in the glove box, and so I'm holding that, and then he was yelling at me to put the car in park because it was still in drive, and so
Yeah, yeah, I know.
he did that. We put it in park. I was on the phone. I had called 911, and then the 3 girls. I don't know if you remember. There was 3 girls there that came over to try and help us
Yeah,
and
they were-
keep him awake.
Yeah, they were yelling at me, trying to
And
get me to talk, and I was
She.
unfortunately not in the mood
One of
to
them
talk.
called my dad, and my dad thought it was a prank call.
Yeah,
So
that too.
he called me because my phone was hooked up through my Bluetooth, and he was like, "This person." I was like, "Yeah, we just got shot." And
Yeah, he
so-
heard me talking to somebody, whoever got me out of the car that day.
Oh, somebody was asking you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This was where
if
I
you
need to apologize because I remember this conversation. Do you know where you got shot? I don't know where I got shot. I got shot all over the place.
It was a quick recovery, like for what happened in the hospital.
and mentally, actually, we recovered pretty quickly mentally, quicker than what most people would expect. I mean, I had one issue with having a panic attack driving down 350, but that was
Okay.
about.
You didn't know where you were going.
I didn't know where I was going. I was going to drop somebody off that I was working with, and they lived out in
Somewhere around there.
somewhere around there, yeah. And I figured out where I was last minute on my way home, and I was like, oh my gosh. And then all the memories start flooding in, and
But that's like
but that was like
that's
the
like
only,
part of our story of how much of a miracle this is for us to like be okay. Like how I still drive my car that this happened in,
yeah,
and it doesn't bother us. Like that is part of the story of all of this.
yeah,
And for us to be able to meet you guys, this is the coolest thing for us. Because the whole time we have been saying, oh, we wish we could meet the people that were there. Because being able to get that side of the
yeah.
story, because we are in a process of writing a book. And so to hear this part as well is cool for us to put in there.
We walked in a room one night and she looked at Scott knowing he's a fireman and she's like, did you work on me? Did you say so? And it just kind of gone from there.
yeah.
Yeah, and then, I mean, because for the longest time, I had no idea that you even worked here. And then I just overheard you guys talking about it one day, and I was like, wonder.
You went to church there back whenever you first lived here,
Yeah.
and then whenever we moved back, we were going there for a little bit. Then her mom had another episode with her brain and everything, and then we stopped going to church for a little bit, and then we decided to go back, and
That's
Is-
when it all happened.
yeah, whenever we went back the second time, and really committed to going back there.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's so cool. And I mean, we had a little bit of perspective from like the like detective point of view, because my cousin is on SWAT in Kansas City, and so kind of got a little behind the scenes there. I also have a friend that works in the police department, so
Yeah,
but this side that actually like helped us.
The good side.
That right. that is cool.
How many bullets were in your car?
I don't know how many. Putting everything back together, he found 3 of them. I think it was just 3 or 4. 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I tried to keep the one that they cut out of me,
Oh,
but
that was hilarious.
yeah, she was there that day. I fought tooth and nail for that thing, and
He said
They wouldn't let me.
He was like, "I'm keeping that," and the doctor was like, "No, you're not. We have to go turn that in for." He goes, "Oh no, I'm keeping it."
I'm thinking they have enough evidence. I earned this one.
It's like the others.
That was funny. But we got his dad got 3 of those made into necklaces for
Yeah.
him to wear.
For me, my brother, and my dad. Yeah.
I wrote something that I want to read you guys, but I'm going to try to hold it together as I write it, or as I read it. As I was praying about our meeting today, this may seem like a small, insignificant meeting to most people, but to us, this is nothing short of a miracle that we experienced the day that we were shot. Every part of our lives are devoted to the one who ultimately spared us that day, the one and only true God, who is the God of miracles. We have gone these 2 years reflecting on what happened and healing from what happened, and we know that this day was a gift to us. Now, it may seem funny to say that it was a gift, but it truly was. And you guys were the first to witness the miracle of us being alive and keeping all of our body parts. They didn't have to take anything from our bodies or do anything. Now, you didn't know it at the time that we stayed that way, but now you get to. And our gratitude is beyond words for how you all played a part in that day. You saved our lives, and we can't thank you enough for that sacrifice. I know it was just another day to you, but in turn, you gave us many more days with our kids, with our parents, with our family, and with our friends. Our life's purpose is to show the goodness of God, and that is why we continue to praise Him for what He did that day. After we went through this, I told Josh that I refuse to be a person that someone would say, wow, she's really messed up from that. Instead, I will be a person who someone says, wow, she is stronger than before, better than ever. Josh survived 9 gunshot wounds, 1 to the head and 8 to his back, hitting almost every vital organ besides his heart and his lungs. And they didn't have to take anything from his body, and he has no ailments or restrictions. I survived 2 gunshot wounds to the arm, completely shattering my forearm, but it is completely functional to this day. Both Josh and I are mentally healthy and restored, and I say all this to show that we serve a real God and that we serve a good God. And you guys played a huge part in our amazing story. And we are so thankful that we get to meet each and every one of you today. And I made you guys cookies.
This is the hat that I was wearing that day. That actually shows the bullet hole that went through the back of my head. So the way that the neurosurgeon explained it, here I'll put it on so you can see it better. And then you can see the scar too. So the way that the neurosurgeon explains it is that it went in this side and actually exited this side right here. So in and out. So yeah.
What were you shot with?
That is 9mm. Yeah, I've got one here in my neck, like I said, and then one right in the shoulder still. And a nice, nice train track where they went through my stomach to have to do all the internal. So I had multiple lacerations and small and large intestine, both kidneys, one kidney, both kidneys, both kidneys, pretty much everything lower of the lungs and heart. So there was at least 1 or 2 bullet holes in all of that.
Okay, so
Picture time.
picture time. That was when Josh got to the hospital. I guess that was the next day.
Which one is that?
You just
Oh yeah, that's
completely sedated.
That's what I remember.
Oh, I was screaming at the doctor that was working on him. I was like, just put him out because he's freaking out and he's gonna die. So just knock him out. She came over and said, we got to give him some sleeping medicine. I'm like, good. That was his back.
Does anybody remember all the back seat of the driver's seat? Did you guys see that? How shot up it was?
I don't remember
Oh.
seeing
I
that.
remember that.
That's one of the
to
first
him
things
it
I
was
saw
in
when I
the
came up in the
driver's
car. I mean,
seat.
I arrived later, but that's one of the first things I noticed was how shot up that back seat was.
That
And I
was,
was thinking, I hope, and I was thinking, I really hope
I don't know if you can see it that well.
I really hope that'll be enough to slow those bullets down and save lives.
Did you notice that there wasn't any on the front side? Or
I saw the back,
Yeah.
and I just
Is-
kept thinking, I hope those bullets were slowed down.
Mm-hmm.
I came up on the passenger side. We remember on the seat post on the back of the car that between the back window, the windshield, and the side.
So there's
window
no
was just littered
exits.
With bullets where you couldn't
There's only
hardly
entrances on
put a
the
finger
back.
without touching part of
Mhm.
another bullet hole on there.
Yeah.
Like a space.
Oh, it was wild. Oh, it felt like eternity that they were shooting. Like that felt like it was never ending.
On the way
Yeah.
to the hospital, you told us what happened. That they were
Oh yeah.
right in your bumper, and then you brake checked them.
Yep.
And then at that
Yeah,
next
that's
line,
her.
they come
See
out.
her seat,
So,
and
like,
then there's
that
2 there, and then there's
changed
1.
The way all of us interact with other drivers on the road. So like, as far as like,
Oh, yeah.
there's been times where I'm at a
Absolutely,
stoplight. The
we are.
example is like being at a stoplight on the second car back, and it turns green, and the car in front of you doesn't
Yeah,
go.
Yeah.
Like
absolutely.
before, I might have been quick to bump.
Yeah.
Like tap the horn, and I've caught myself since then reaching for the horn and stopping. Like, dude, just
Oh, yeah.
you don't know what they're
Yeah.
gonna do or what
He's-
they've got.
He used to be the most aggressive driver.
Not
Now,
anymore.
nothing.
I learned.
Nothing.
But that affected all of us, at least on the rescue, because that's something that we've talked about since then. And not every call that we run, has that type of effect. So like, it's just
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
and the thing was, both him and I, we had our pistols with us. We
Yeah.
had no, there was 0 reaction time to even grab anything.
Well, I remember because I looked for your ID in your purse because it was there, and then I saw you had a gun on you. And I'm like, damn.
I forgot all about that part. Yeah, because that is yeah, you didn't cross your mind.
Oh my gosh! And they had
No,
to take, so they had to take both of them to obviously do for everyone. He had just gotten that one for his.
Just got it for my birthday
for his
that
birthday.
morning.
I gave it
Just
to
got
him
it
for his
that
birthday.
morning.
It had never been shot.
And
This stinking.
I do have it back, and it actually has a spot
There's
in
a-
the grip where a bullet hit it,
And it was between his legs.
and it was between my legs. So that right there, it was like up underneath my thigh,
Yeah.
and Yeah, I actually have a picture of it. The grip has,
Remember he handed it to somebody or someone.
Yeah, I forgot all about that.
I remember that.
All right, they had to take, yeah. So the
Yeah.
police department was the first one to shoot that gun. Mm-hmm. Not him.
I mean, it was fresh out of the box.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he had been knocked out. The bullet had to hit him first because he was just gone for the second.
Oh yeah, because I remember someone, waking up in the vehicle to her on the phone with 911, and that's kind of when I pieced together what just happened. And then we put the car in park, and somebody came and got me out of the vehicle, and that's all I remember from that day. The next day I remember waking up gagging on the breathing tube and went back to sleep or went back out or whatever, and then waking up to my dad talking to me about, do you know what happened? It's like, I got shot. He said, you know how many times? I said, no. And he said, you got shot 9 times. And I couldn't believe it. And then they came in and read the laundry list of all the injuries that I had come through. I mean, the one that went in the back of my head, it actually messed up my vision for a little bit because it went in, hit the skull, ricocheted, and came out. And when it hit the skull, it actually made a hole and then sent bone fragment into my brain, which caused me to lose all vision in the left vision fields of both my eyes. So when I woke up and came to in the vehicle, if you look through the peephole of a door, that's as much vision as I had, like clear vision. Everything else was just a bright white light around it.
And they prepared me that he'd be blind pretty much, that he would have colostomy bag, they'd have to take part of his liver, they'd have to do this
Be on
and that.
dialysis, yeah.
Yeah. Nothing.
Yeah,
And he can
it
see
is.
completely fine.
Oh yeah.
How long did it take for your vision to come back?
I would say pretty much until like full clarity, maybe the whole time I was in the hospital. I remember watching more or less listening to the Super Bowl game because my depth perception was so off. I could not see clearly and everything would just run together. So I pretty much just listened to that game, tried to watch it.
He slept the whole time I was there.
Yeah, I was under a lot of medication.
Yes.
Did your families live here? Did they all
Well,
already?
mine does.
Mm-hmm.
His parents, they flew in that night from
Houston. Yeah.
And then our cousin drove up.
And my brother drove up, brother and his family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But mine live here.
Yeah.
So, and oh man, the fight that they had to do to try and see us because we were under
police protection.
whatever our names were. I was like Missouri Alpha
Yeah,
something.
we were under aliases, both of us.
Yeah, nobody really could see us unless our parents until the police lifted that restriction up for us,
Yeah.
which was the next day. So
I don't know.
you don't know. Like the next day, the
Is
next
that
afternoon.
just a standard protocol they have for a shooting?
Yeah. Oh, when we got into the trauma room, he was
was going
going
crazy,
so
apparently.
irate. They had to go out and pull one of the officers and say, "Can you please help us with him?" They had to hold him down so they could give him
A sedative.
to knock him out.
Yeah.
Where were the kids that day? Like, you guys just so happened to not have the kids.
They were with my parents.
So you just had.
We just taken off to go get lunch and then
Yeah.
come back.
Yeah.
You guys got a good picture too.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Here, I'll show
So
you
here's
there's my
the
arm.
pistol. And that's the,
Oh wow.
But
I took
my
a
doctor
full metal
said
jacket 9mm and it
that-
fits perfectly in that groove.
Can't get rid of that one though.
Never.
Oh, those are the plates in your arm?
Oh yeah.
No, that's
It's
when it was
great.
broken.
That's what, oh, I see the break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
he said
I couldn't
if
believe
he
that
wasn't
one.
on
When I got
call,
it back, I was looking at it and I was
that
like,
I would have
wait, this
to have
doesn't,
waited
this doesn't
because he
seem
was
right.
the only surgeon
And I
who could
took
do
one of
that.
the 9 full metal jackets I have, stuck it in there. I was like, oh wow.
and I was that was the worst
That
pain.
is, that's
So
interesting.
you were able to get into surgery right away?
No, I got in surgery at 7:30 that night. I had to wait because the anesthesia team was in his OR,
Yeah, I was
and so
taking up.
That must just
Yeah.
terrifying, brutal wait for you. in
Oh.
that period?
I had never ever in my life said, please take me into surgery. But the amount of pain, I had these two babies, 100% no medication. I would do that 50 times over than the pain that I went through with this arm. And they thought that I like had permanent nerve damage because nobody could find a pulse in my arm. Or on this arm forever. Nobody could find a pulse. I had to have all these tests done to see if my nerves were even responding. And they had to come in every, I don't know, maybe hour to check if my arm is turning black or blue or whatever, that it's dying.
Whatever color.
But it ended up being fine. So.
Yeah, you.
It's been the call that stuck with me the most. Like just me and my girlfriend would go to the plaza all the time. Drive over to aggressive, whatever.
Yeah.
I remember right after that, I called her. I was like, could have been me and you. So easily.
Yeah. Well, I mean, after this, we were told all these different stories of things that were happening that you get much more aware of if something like that happens to you. And so I'm like, oh wow, stuff like this happens a lot down there.
You guys all couldn't find anything in the news about it.
Yeah,
No.
It's incredible.
Oh yeah, they didn't.
we actually looked. Like,
That never makes the news.
No, the only thing that was on there, my friend found it, was it said like 3 deceased and whatever. Somebody made up a story.
Yeah, they
And
made
so
up some
that was the
random
only
story.
thing.
I was looking for like the shit before Scott asked me about it.
Yeah, they ran like a small story on the internet, but it wasn't like there was nothing true about it.
Yeah, it
It was
was.
all
I think because they saw the car seats in the back.
so they were
made-
like 4 people, kids, and 2 dead, kids something. And I'm like, that's our vehicle, but that's not exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
You guys rode in the elevator up in the hospital together.
Oh, you did?
I.
You remember that?
You were trying to talk to me, and
I was.
and I'm thinking in my head. Everybody kept saying, we don't have any information on him. I'm like, listen, I can give you everything of his. I know his birthday, I know his social security number, I know his name.
Yeah, why would they try
you
to
were
talk?
like, it seemed like you were starting to tank.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
were.
Elevator ride.
He kept telling us on the way there, you're like, I have to pee.
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah,
And like that was kind of our cue. Like, that's not good.
yeah.
Especially he kept saying it.
He kept saying that when we were in the trauma room, too. And that he needed a drink of water and that he had to pee.
Oh,
But we
that's-
think they think because it
Because
hit
of my
his
kidney.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the next morning, I'm asking for a drink of water. They give me a straw with a sponge on the end of it, and I was so thirsty. I had
cussed him.
the worst cotton mouth ever, and I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous. My parents think it's the funniest thing. They came in, did all like the bandage change and everything, and they're like, okay, now you gotta get up and walk. I said, okay, give me water first, and then I'll get up and walk.
I said no.
They said, nope.
He said, then I'm not getting
And
up.
I'm not getting up. Yeah, they don't, no issues at all. I've got a metal plate in my neck from where when I was 16, I got in a car wreck, broke my neck, and the C4 and 5, those are fused together. So, yeah, I got a scar that runs across the top of my head here, and then one on my hand, and yeah, and then that
It's
scar
just you.
there. Bunch of glass has been coming out of that for years. But yeah, that was when I was 16. I actually got out of the car then too, and walked 3/10 of a mile to somebody's house, cause I was on a dirt road in the middle of nowhere headed home, and I'd been watching way too many Fast and Furious movies, and I remember this too. I had a single cab Chevy, and I was going around a curve on a dirt road, was way too fast. I was 16 years old. Hit the embankment. It flipped the truck up into a tree, crushed the cab. That's when I broke my neck and everything. So I was kind of went through the driver window, not all the way out, but enough to be hanging out of it. So climbed out of there and thinking, oh, my truck's gonna blow up, because I see all the dust and stuff flying around, thinking it's smoke and fire's coming next, and
Oh my gosh.
I didn't run out of there, but I walked pretty fast.
What was the date of it?
February 5th.
February 5th. Oh yeah, it was a hard time trying to figure out how to sleep after all that. Had an open wound on the back of my head, then staples in my stomach, and
Open wounds in my neck.
yeah, and open wounds. Well, the funny thing is the bullet holes didn't hurt. The stitching on the back of my head and then my stomach hurt. That's like,
Well, my arm didn't hurt. My hand hurt from the nerve.
the nerve damage. Yeah.
That is what hurt. That would send you over the edge.
So you have full function and
Yeah, the only thing that I can't do, so like we can normally go 90, but I can only go like 60. That's this. But that's because of where they put the plate. So when I was in after surgery, they did my range of motion, and that's where it stopped. But so one of the cool things is when I was after I got out of surgery, I was wondering if they had seen my tattoo that I have, and it says forgive, and then the N is like forgiven. And I was thinking, I wonder what they think. They have this girl laying on the table that just got shot in the arm, and it says forgive. And so the other cool thing is how, like, we've completely forgiven the people that did this to us. There's no hate or anything in our heart towards them, but it's just another part of the story and the testament of what is. And the crazy thing was I was going to get that tattoo removed because I got it when I was 18 and I don't like the font. So I was going to cover it up, but
now she can't
now
get
I
it
won't
covered
ever
up.
cover it up.
Yeah.
But
Did you ever find out, did the surgical team see it, or did you ever?
oh yeah, my doctor, he goes, I don't know, I didn't even say anything. I went into my follow-up appointment. It was my last one, my 9-month, praying that it was healed because it was not healing. And he was like, I'm gonna have to go back in there and put bone grafts. And I'm like, no, you're not. And that day is when he cleared me. And then he rolls his chair over to me and he goes, that says, I saw what that said. All of us saw what that said. And he just went off telling a story of how he had a hard day and how he loved to see when I went in because of the joy that I had, and I just told him about like what I believe and whatnot, and like we forgive them, and it was great. But yeah, he brought it up, which was so cool, so cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's so many little pieces to the story. Thank you guys for being here and letting us share
Thank you for
Looking forward to
and sharing with us.
and thank you guys for all that you did that day and continue to do.
Yeah.
So I was telling her, it's like I don't know really how to say like thank you to someone that does this kind of stuff, and especially someone that played such a big part in keeping us alive.
Yeah.
Like, you know, words sometimes don't do it full justice, but we are from the bottom of our hearts very thankful and very grateful for each and every one of you.